Hey guys, welcome back. So a pretty quick review about this Asaki cutter, which is obviously intended, as you can see from the shape, intended for, trimming bushes and stuff like that. But for my uses, it's more sort of a thing around the studio. I do use cutting tools pretty often when I make stuff or whatever other stuff I'm doing that requires tools. I'm sure this is not all my cutting tools, but this is a selection of my main ones that are in my main toolbox. So this is sort of a really good thing to go in between my heavy metal cutting, intended for cutting sheet metal, like for working with cars, or aluminium for other uses, or steel for other uses, and between scissors, which are for, just for card and paper and stuff. And then of course I've got stuff that's actually for bolts, for bigger bolts, not huge ones, as you can tell, it's only for about 5mm bolts, but this one from Knipex. And then below that, obviously for smaller stuff like hair and whatever the hell, for tiny things or string or, fingernails or whatever. So this thing fills a nice gap between these two for cutting materials. Now, I would often cut materials like this PVC here, which what you're looking at right here is my silent rolling vacuum cleaner box. So basically I want my vacuum cleaner more quiet, so sort of modified this box with, put some wheels under it, and this basically keeps my vacuum cleaner in there, keeps it really nice and silent. So then I've got the tube coming out of one side of the thing, and this stick needs to hold somewhere. So I've made a little thing on the side here that it can clip into, like this. So it's just a piece of PVC that I've cut up. But recently I noticed that this was, like, it was sort of, the corners of this was sticking into my leg. This is where I'd normally reach for this, because this does a pretty good job on PVC, but a very inaccurate job on PVC as well. It's really not intended for PVC, it's intended for metal. So this actually fills a good gap between these two. This does have a little bit of a hard time cutting PVC, obviously depends on the thickness. And if you're wondering what this is part of the reason I want to chop this up a little bit. I actually fell off my skateboard and then, got a wound there. Nothing too bad. But then this thing scraped against that wound, which was very, very painful. Actually more painful than just falling off the skateboard. So I'm going to cut these corners down. So let's see how this goes. Pretty good. This material here is about 1mm thick. Let's compare that to these, which are much more expensive as well. You can get cheap ones. These are better quality ones from Owen. So these cut it easier, but actually not by a huge amount. They both work pretty well. These are much lighter in weight, and I feel that, they are giving me a little more accuracy and sort of allow me to work with this kind of material a little better. Okay, so what I would say about these is they are a pretty good budget option, but please keep in mind that I'm not a professional gardener. I've done gardening before, but I've not compared various different brands of these kind of shears, but they seem to be pretty good. The spring here is not too difficult to press and doesn't seem to be coming out on its own. I think if I pull it, then it will come out. But no, actually, that's holding in there pretty well. I'd have to really try and get it out to get it out, and then putting it back in. I doubt that's going to be a problem. Yeah, that's fine. So the lock here would be nice if that held in place better, because I noticed that it, as I'm working with it, it's possible for it to sort of close back up like this. Not too much of a big issue. It does seem to hold closed fairly well without moving out of position. But if you do press it, then it's fairly easy to undo it. And then it looks like we've got something here that you can tighten and loosen these, or just remove this completely and take it apart for sharpening. And we've got a pretty nice grip on this. It's lightweight, so it doesn't feel very rugged, but it actually feels okay. It feels decently made. It doesn't feel like amazing, but it feels good. I'd be happy using this. There's a little too much flex in the handles, as you can see right there, but I mean, I'm pressing it really hard. So, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. But I'd prefer something that feels more rugged. Obviously, I guess that would cost more as well. But yeah, that's, I guess, pretty good for the price. Seems to be working really nicely. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll have links below to get this. And don't forget to subscribe because I've got lots more cool tool reviews coming up soon. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.